and Rising Soul Fam. So today I have been coming on and I've been exploring Gene Key 17 and also Gene Key 18. And so these are programming partners to one another. So I just did the Tao Oracle for Gene Key 18, the divine expression of perfection, Gene Key 17, the hexagram of following, and the divine expression of omniscience. And now I'm coming on to do Gene Key 18, or hexagram 18, which this is work on what has been spoiled. Healing, correct past mistakes, make repairs, clean up corruption, restore balance, and responsible action. So this is what it looks like here. And it was totally an honest mistake to pull the wrong oracle to do the programming partner in the last video, but there's never a mistake. Everything is perfect in its design, so I'm trusting, and I recognize that some people are going to really resonate with the last message. Some people might really resonate with this one. So work on what has been spoiled. If you've put your dinner leftovers in the fridge or you don't see them for days on end, eventually they start to grow moldy and stink. The same thing happens with mistakes and difficulties that we refuse to deal with. We can pretend that we don't know about them or disguise them with the fragrance of other more pleasant affairs. But all our mistakes and difficulties are learning opportunities. And when the use-by date passes, the smell of decay has a way of intruding itself into every corner of the house. When that happens, it's time to face reality. Any further efforts to cover the decay with flowers or with rationalizations just won't work. It's the moment of truth when all efforts to avoid facing the facts must come to an end. The first place to look is within yourself, without denial or embellishment, to see what part you have played in creating the current degeneration. It is of utmost importance that you take the time and care to identify any unhealthy habits in your own thinking that have contributed to the downward spiral. Because unless this work is done first, nothing else can change. By correcting any tendencies to make assumptions, postpone things, or pretend indifference, you begin to restore the balance. From the center point of your own being, a ripple effect radiates outwards and gradual process of healing can begin. Finding the way to correct spoiled circumstances will require patience and tolerance of your own and others' inadequacies and limitations. If the negligence of others has contributed some part of the corruption, it's wise to avoid head-on confrontations. Their lessons are theirs to learn in their own ways. The message of the hexagram of work on what has been spoiled is primarily directed to the one who receives it. And the message is to do the inner work needed to prevent a recurrence of the situation in the future. If, after careful consideration of the detached and contemplative kind, it's clear that what's needed is just to take a break from the whole affair, then it should not be out of anger or vindictiveness. Instead, see it as a restorative time for cleaning up your own act. By sincerely attending to clean up your own affairs and attitudes, you'll be facilitating a restoration of balance on a larger scale and setting a positive example for others. The tragedy of ecological disasters brought on by human negligence is something we all have witnessed in the media or even firsthand. Most of us weren't directly involved in the creation of these crises, but we all participate in gross, irresponsible thinking or doing at some point or another. Our internal attitudes set the tone for our reality. We create oil slicks in our relationships and toxic spills with our own minds. We dump mental garbage on loved ones, friends, and neighbors. We allow our emotional fires to run rampant, destroying all that comes in their path. Begin the work of cleaning up and restoring balance in your own small self first. Give it your total love and attention. Be forgiving and absolutely diligent. You and the world will be better for it. So here are the changes. Bottom line, line 1. Sometimes the source of corruption is ingrained so deeply in one's characteristic ways of doing things that the work of change feels like uprooting one's very identity. If this is your situation, it's an extraordinary opportunity. Any changes that you're able to make will benefit you in ways you cannot even imagine right now. Line 2. Remember, this is the divine expression programming partner of omniscience. So line 2, it often happens that when we want to avoid facing something painful, we can draw loved ones and friends into the conspiracy. If you've participated in such a scheme, remember that their help has likely been given sincerely, even if not wisely in the end. As you begin to face up to the reality and do your part to repair the damage that's been done, be respectful of the feelings of others and take care not to blame them for anything that was, after all, initiated by you. Line 3. When circumstances have reached such a critical point that any attempt they can make in the direction of correcting the wrongs is a step in the right direction, don't be afraid to take it. The sooner, the better, because until this much needed cleanup has happened, there can be no new beginnings. Really shows you what's happening on the macro. Line 4. It's disturbing to feel like you've let someone down, or to admit mistakes, or that your best clearly isn't good enough. Pretending everything is fine when it doesn't work, manipulation through flattery or coercion through threats are no-win techniques that will just keep the situation stuck. When the moment comes to own up to your own shortcomings and take responsibility, it can seem like the end of the world, but it's not. Line 5. It's essential to admit to yourself first that healing is needed, then commit wholeheartedly to restoring the balance without delay. Once this process has begun, everything begins to shift. The external effects may not be obvious for some time, but within your own mind, something will have already begun to relax. Top line, beware of the tendency to congratulate yourself for having known it all along, or actually being in a position now to say, I told you so. It might be true, but your energy is better spent on tending to your own garden, enjoying your own flowers, grateful that it will be easier to smell the roses now that the garbage dump down the road is being cleaned up. So work on what has been spoiled, tending to our own traumas, our own emotional needs, and giving them a voice, giving them space to be aired out, to be purified, to be cleaned out, so that we can tap into the omniscience, the field of telepathy, of universal love, when you know everybody is thinking relatively in the same way, because everybody is transparent with their agendas. There's no hidden motives. And when we can all be so transparent with one another, there's no need to have so many secrets. We can just wear our hearts right on our sleeves. Sending you so much love. Namaste.